About 70,000 years ago, a small group of humans stood on the edge of Africa. They could not see the future. They did not know they were about to change the world forever. They only knew there was another horizon. Every city you have ever visited, every language you have ever heard, every nation that exists today, all of them can trace their story back to journeys like this one. The greatest escape in human history did not begin with an army. It began with families, children, fire, curiosity, and one impossible decision: leave home. For almost 300,000 years, modern humans lived almost entirely in Africa. Our species evolved there. Our bodies adapted there. Our minds were shaped there. Africa was not a prison. It was home. Then something changed. The climate shifted. Rainfall became unpredictable. Grasslands expanded. Forests shrank. Animals followed new paths. Humans followed the animals. But this journey was different. Some groups reached the northeastern edge of Africa. Ahead of them lay a narrow stretch of water. Today we call it the Bab el-Mandeb Strait. At certain times, lower sea levels made the crossing shorter than it is today. No bridge existed. No maps existed. No one knew what waited on the other side. Imagine standing there. Behind you is everything your family has ever known. Ahead is an empty horizon. Would you step forward? For decades, scientists debated exactly when this migration happened. Some argued for 60,000 years ago. Others suggested even earlier attempts. New discoveries continue to refine the timeline. But one conclusion remains remarkably consistent. A relatively small population left Africa. And nearly every person living outside Africa today descends from those travelers. How small was that group? Genetic studies suggest perhaps only a few thousand breeding individuals contributed to later populations. Some estimates are even lower. That does not mean only a few thousand people existed. It means surprisingly few left descendants that survived. One successful generation can change history forever. The evidence comes from DNA. Every cell in your body carries a historical record. Your genome is filled with clues left behind by your ancestors. Researchers compare these tiny differences between populations, like detectives reconstructing an ancient crime scene. Patterns emerge, family trees appear, journeys become visible. One scientist who transformed this field was Svante Pääbo. His work extracting ancient DNA from fossil bones revealed relationships once thought impossible to discover. Instead of guessing from skull shapes alone, researchers could compare genomes directly. The story became far clearer. Modern humans were not alone. The world already belonged to other human species. Neanderthals lived across Europe and Western Asia. Denisovans occupied parts of Asia. Other mysterious human populations may have existed too. For thousands of years, these groups shared the planet. Sometimes they competed. Sometimes they met peacefully. Sometimes they had children together. The proof still exists inside you. If your ancestry lies outside Africa, you probably carry Neanderthal DNA. Some people also inherited Denisovan genes. Ancient encounters still echo through modern biology. A meeting that lasted only hours can leave marks lasting tens of thousands of years. But surviving this journey required far more than crossing water. The landscapes beyond Africa were unpredictable. Deserts stretched for hundreds of kilometers. Mountain ranges blocked easy travel. Unknown predators waited in unfamiliar forests. Fresh water could disappear without warning. Every sunrise brought another decision: keep walking or turn back. Fire became a traveling companion. It cooked food, provided warmth, scared away predators, extended the day long after sunset. Without controlled fire, this migration might never have succeeded. Tools evolved too. Stone blades became sharper. Wooden spears became more refined. Groups learned from one another. Knowledge spread across generations. Unlike instinct, knowledge could improve. That may have been humanity's greatest advantage. Every child inherited more than genes. They inherited ideas. Then came the coastline. Many archaeologists believe early humans followed shorelines because food was relatively reliable. Fish, shellfish, crabs, seaweed. The ocean became a moving supermarket. It guided people farther than anyone had traveled before. Slowly, generation after generation, humans expanded. Not in one great march, but in thousands of tiny journeys. A valley explored, a river crossed, a mountain climbed. Each generation moved only a little farther. Yet over thousands of years, those small steps reached India, then Southeast Asia, eventually Australia, crossing open water again. By roughly 65,000 years ago, humans had reached the Australian continent. That required remarkable planning. Boats may have been simple, but simple does not mean accidental. People had to transport families, food, tools, fire, hope. What kind of conversations happened around those ancient campfires? Did parents promise children that something better waited ahead? Did anyone secretly wish they had never left? We will never know. But we know they continued. Eventually, humans entered Europe. There they encountered Neanderthals once more. For thousands of years, both species survived side by side. Then Neanderthals disappeared. Scientists still debate exactly why. Climate change, competition, small populations, disease, perhaps all of them together. History rarely has only one cause. Much later, another challenge appeared. An enormous wall of ice. During the Ice Age, glaciers covered huge portions of the Northern Hemisphere. Yet humans adapted again. They made tailored clothing, built shelters, invented better hunting tools. Creativity became a survival strategy. Finally, some crossed a land bridge connecting Siberia and North America. Today, that land lies beneath the Bering Strait. Back then, it was a frozen highway. From there, humans gradually spread across the Americas, southward, generation after generation, until people reached the southern tip of South America. Nearly every environment on Earth now held human footprints. Frozen tundra, dense rainforest, dry deserts, high mountains, remote islands. No other large mammal had ever adapted so completely to every corner of the planet. And yet, the greatest tool humans carried was invisible. Cooperation. One person cannot memorize every edible plant. One person cannot watch for predators every night. One person cannot raise children alone. But groups can. Language multiplied knowledge. Trust multiplied survival. Culture multiplied both. That is why this was more than a migration. It was the beginning of a connected human story. Every friendship you have, every book ever written, every satellite orbiting Earth, every hospital, every orchestra, every university, every spacecraft, all of them exist because someone kept walking. The greatest escape in human history was never really an escape. It was an expansion of possibility. Those travelers were not searching for continents. They were searching for tomorrow, and without ever knowing your name, they made sure you would have one. Instrumental pause. The greatest escape in human history was never really an escape. It was an expansion of possibility. Those travelers were not searching for continents. They were searching for tomorrow. And without ever knowing your name, they made sure you would have one. About 70,000 years ago, a small group of humans stood on the edge of Africa. They could not see the future. They did not know they were about to change the world forever. All of them can trace their story back to journeys like this one. A relatively small population left Africa. And nearly every person living outside Africa today descends from those travelers. Genetic studies suggest perhaps only a few thousand breeding individuals contributed to later populations. Every cell in your body carries a historical record, like detectives reconstructing an ancient crime scene. Modern humans were not alone. Sometimes they had children together. Ancient encounters still echo through modern biology. Fire became a traveling companion. Knowledge spread across generations. Every child inherited more than genes. The ocean became a moving supermarket, not in one great march, but in thousands of tiny journeys. By roughly 65,000 years ago, humans had reached the Australian continent. People had to transport families. Hope. Eventually, humans entered Europe. Scientists still debate exactly why. During the Ice Age, glaciers covered huge portions of the Northern Hemisphere. Creativity became a survival strategy. Today, that land lies beneath the Bering Strait. Nearly every environment on Earth now held human footprints. Cooperation. Language multiplied knowledge. Trust multiplied survival. Culture multiplied both. Every spacecraft. All of them exist because someone kept walking. It was an expansion of possibility. They were searching for tomorrow. And without ever knowing your name, they made sure you would have one. The greatest escape in human history was never really an escape. It was an expansion of possibility.